A prestigious guest for ESSEC Business School, John Chambers, executive chairman of the world's leading internet network, Cisco, came to meet and speak with students.
I love to get as close to you as I can on the questions. I try to read your eyes in terms of how you engage or not in terms of the key opportunities. And then I love to have fun back and forth. So that's why I like to control a little bit the questions as they go forward. So who's going to ask the next question?
The conference was a relaxed exchange in close proximity to the students. Leadership, entrepreneurship, startups. John Chambers, ranked by Times Magazine as one of the 100 most powerful people in the world, enjoyed sharing his advice and answering questions for an hour.
The students are always the most fun part of my trip. When I watched you all here at the school, it was amazing how good the questions were, how similar it was exactly to what I'd hear in the best universities in America or the best universities in India. I think the major thing in advice to students is understand what you know and understand what you don't. Take what the school teaches you and think about how you constantly reinvent yourself as you go forward. The other part of the advice is not only think about going to, as the business students would have done here 5 and 10 years ago, to the biggest company or to government, think about startups. The majority, and I think it's like 70% of the MBA students in the US want to go to a startup or a small business. At Stanford, it's 95%. And so I would say they've done an amazing job of educating you all here. It's how do you take it to the next level and think a little bit creatively about what your next option can be.
During his visit, Chambers reaffirmed his affinity for French tech and for the French startup ecosystem in particular.
40% of the large companies in France, in the US, and around the world will completely disappear. The job growth will come from startups and small businesses getting much bigger. Every company will become a digital company. If we don't reskill the current workforce and train our young people differently, that digital divide will occur quicker than the internet divide did, and it can have 3 to 5 times the economic challenges and opportunities. So when I talk to government leaders around the world, including here in France, and French leaders got it, regardless of political party. They understood the opportunity if they became a digital nation.
At the end of 2015, the company with 74,000 employees around the world announced that they would like to invest $200 million in these dynamic young startups. According to Chambers, France is the Silicon Valley of Europe.
Most people around the world had traditionally viewed France as a nation that was very innovative a number of years ago and that had lost its momentum. A great place to go visit and tourists, or a great place to have fantastic food. What occurred, and I can't say exactly when it did, was a change started taking place about 5 years ago. You suddenly saw a nation that wanted to change. You saw your startups at the Consumer Electronics Show be number 2 in the world, only behind the US. And when I talked to those startups at the Consumer Electronics Show, all 77 of them, it was like I was in Silicon Valley. Then you could see the business leaders wanted to change, and you saw the government leaders understand the value of change and what could be done. So what happened was, I think you have tremendous talent here in France. You're beginning to see that talent's focus more and more on innovation in a digital world. You're becoming the startup nation for Europe. You have the ability to dream and really make a difference with a great education system, but also one that's willing to change. So when I said France would be the next big thing 2.5 years ago and become the startup nation of Europe, many people had hesitancies. But I saw the transitions occurring, and it's worked out beyond almost anybody's expectation.
After the conference, Chambers was able to see the preponderance of innovation and digital technology at ESSEC by visiting the K-Lab. He also met with ESSEC's young entrepreneurs.
You will. Thank you all.